I'm aware, obviously, that there was a large gap between this and Screamworks, and then you had the remix album, and then you had the best of the 20 years. Best of? Are we saying best of?
We can say
the
best
compilation.
Of, yes. A compilation. Yes.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been obviously. I can see already that the anticipation for the album is verging on psychotic.
Well, that's the reason for the gap, right?
Exactly.
I have to keep people hungry.
Exactly.
If they serve you know, if you're selling great vegan food every day, they will get bored. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But we did indeed have problems, as well. We started working on the album for about 2.5 years ago, and then unfortunately, drummer Gas suffered from with some nerve damage in his hands, and his wrists weren't working really well, and so he couldn't actually play, and he wasn't sure whether he's going to be able to play at all ever again, which caused a great existential crisis within the band, because we are a band of brothers, been together for ages, and it hurt that we didn't know whether the band's going to exist or not, or whether we're going to continue without him, or if we can.
Drum machine.
Yeah, that's something more than human.
Indeed. Well, I have an Oberheim DX back home, so we could have used that, but I'm not sure whether people would have liked it too much. Yeah. There is it's a fine line, but between Gas and Oberheim.
It's a slender line.
Indeed. Yeah. But then at the end of the day, he was good. Was it last May? He started feeling better, and we headed back to the rehearsal place, and everything was fantastic and fine and fabulous, and felt rejuvenated after such a long break. And then the fact that we could actually continue playing together as a band. Yeah. So then the actual work on the album didn't take that long. It was 2.5 months of drinking beer and banging our heads at the rehearsal place, and then we entered the studio, and here we are.
Was most of it already formed by this point? Did you know how the songs were? Did you have the bulk of the songs and were working on arrangements, or were you waiting until everybody was ready to go?
I think that at the end of the day, the good thing about the break or Gas's ailment, I'm kind of happy that he suffered, because he suffered for the art as I did. So he gave me an extra 8 months to actually work on the songs. Yeah. It made the ditties a tad prettier. So I think it was a good thing at the end of the day. If we would have done the album earlier, I think that it would be way worse. Now it's just like, now it's decent.
Well, I don't know. I don't doubt that it wouldn't have been great. Is it for you that those moments where you're at the final furlong, that's when there'll be one song that comes along right at the last minute, and that's the one which then the sort of cohesive glue?
No, this time I think the cohesive glue was the artwork.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just somehow it brought out the organic, kind of the earthly tones of it, and the pseudo occult esoteric symbolism just brought out the best sound-wise too. It's crazy how visual
angelic happened to it.
Indeed,
like something came down from heaven.
Yeah, indeed. The Malachim and everything. It's just like that was Malachim was the glue.
And this Christ-like figure.
All right, the end.
Descended from the heavens. Started speaking in tongues, and it was rather fabulous. Thank you.
I do feel a bit weird talking about it though.
No, I know.
I feel I kind of, because I think, having been involved in a tiny way on the peripheral, I see how excited your fan base is about this, because it has been a long while, but you're one of the few bands that really does inspire proper, fervent fandom, and it seems to me that the anticipation for this record, I don't know whether it's because you have a particular type of fan, or whether it's been because of the long gap.
It's definitely not talent.
No, well, what I mean is
I'm fairly sure the fact is that we hate all social media, so we're not tweeting our everyday chores to all around the world. That's not interesting for us. So I think the good music should get the imagination going.
It is a rare thing these days, though. I think there is a general excitement and mystery involved, and for me as a fan, stepping aside from all this, it's exactly what I wanted at this point from you guys, because it seems to be the distillation of all the elements of what you've had with your sound. There's the weight of Venus Doom, and yet it still harks back to the more popular elements of some some of the earlier stuff.
That just sounds like you're describing him now.
Exactly. I guess so. But it's weird because you are one of those bands where people, I don't know, they think like you've had these huge changes throughout your career, throughout album to album, which I don't think you have, because you hear any of your records and it's instantly recognizable as you guys. But what I'm saying is you kind of elaborated on different parts of the sonic palette, shall we say.
Was that a question?
I don't know.
It was
that
terribly long question.
Yeah, I did that again.
I can sense a question.
I generally
there,
do that whenever you're in the room.
Oh, okay.
It's
his fault.
No stay, because I'm kind of enjoying this. To be honest with you.
See? Grief. So there'll be more from them coming up, but first we asked them to pick a couple of tracks from the album to play. First track pick was from Mige, and it was he picked Into the Night, and well, you'll hear why.
Well, because it has that kind of it has root beer floats and it has the sewage. So, I think it's a pretty good option out of all those. Well, if you're into those things. I am.
Together.
No, in the two separate glasses. Of course. I mean, who would mix those two? Come on. Yeah. With the straws. Yeah, yeah. Good point.
Oh, that's a delightful image.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Aside from that,
you threw me off.
I mean, we can leave it at root beer and sewage.
I think I ruined it already.
I find it interesting that you said to me that when you wanted to put the artwork together, you didn't want to have any lyrics on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Because
of the Beatles.
Exactly.
Right.
And that you said you found out what was.
I don't hate a lot of things in this world.
Do you really hate them?
For some reason, I do.
Okay.
I mean, I try to love them. I tried with all my Christian heart to embrace Obladi and Oblada.
Well, I mean, if you pull that one out of the bag as
I just did. It is a reference.
I mean, that's enough to make anyone hate that band, I guess. Well, that song.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but there's,
It's like once it's tainted, it's tainted forever.
I've forgotten my point then. You threw me with Obladi Oblada.
We were just talking about the lack of lyrics on the cover artwork.
Yeah.
But obviously we had better things to fill the booklet with.
That wasn't what I was All right, now I feel weird again. I said this was going to be weird for me.
By the end of the day, we were talking about Into the Night as a song, and probably you had some idea with, besides the sewage.
Yeah, I think maybe it was the sewage.
maybe I missed it.
No, it's totally gone. Actually, there was a point, but it's gone.
No, we were talking about Beatles, And then,
I know, but I can't remember. Yeah, but I can't. But I can't remember why I was bringing that up.
It was the lack of the lyrics in the booklet, because Beatles were the first band to have lyrics printed on their record sleeve, and we just found it out, and that's the reason why we so desperately seeked for your art.
I know, but there was a reason why I'd brought that up.
I know,
but that was
I
pretty
can't
much
remember what it was.
We can't be more clear than this, If you don't,
let's just play the
if you
song.
don't save it from that,
we'll play the song at that point.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Hissy at the end. That was him, Into the Night. Right, back to the conversation with Mige and Ville. How are you seeing this within your sphere of all your work? Are you seeing it as the natural progression on from things? Because the last record proper, Screenworks, like the popular elements had really come to the fore.
Right. It was fairly slick and straight to the point, and the kind of ADD, all the arrangements on the album. There was a lot of stuff going on all the time, and I think this one has a bit more masculine, relaxed atmosphere, organic, dirty, gritty atmosphere to it. And also, usually the songwriting always starts from a case perspective. I'm trying to channel my inner Neil Young or whatever while sitting back home with all my taxidermy. The difference with this album is that we were able to put all the elements of this band into each and every song. On a lot of the previous albums, we had like one really rough rocking track and then one really pop one and there's somewhere in between. Like the song All Lips Go Blue, for example, it's got that humongous cathedral riff going on, and at the same time the verse is very kind of angelic and pretty and forlorn and wimpy in that sort of Roy Orbison way.
Yeah.
And then coming together again in the chorus, which is kind of sing-along-y, like, you know, Bon Jovi from Hell. So I'm kind of happy that we were able to put all the influences and all the stuff we've done in the past within like 3.5 minutes. And I think that
within each song itself.
Yes, indeed. So especially these days when people don't like to listen to full albums, you know, you can just listen to one and you get instantly what the whole band is about. And that's kind of what I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Plus the artwork.
Okay, so you're going to be over.
You're blushing?
I am. I
Yeah,
feel.
oh my God,
I feel. Yeah, you know, when people are going to get a chance to hear this, you're doing the show on the 26th. That's just prior to the album release. But then you're also doing download. Is there going to be touring around this time as well? Do you know what's going on with that?
Well, the idea is basically that, you know, at the end of April, right before the album comes out, we're doing a few gigs in we're doing Berlin, Cologne, London. Then we're heading over to the States for just 8 gigs, which is basically LA, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Toronto, Philly. I think that's it, right?
That's it, yeah.
And then it's going to be a few festivals, and then the proper touring will start. So there's a little track during springtime. It's just a kind of reminder for those fervent, fanatic people you mentioned. And we're just going to say hi, and we still exist, and we can still, you know, kind of rock on a good day. And
I think so. I think Hell Done proved that.
Thank you, Saya.
Are you looking forward to getting out and touring again?
I'm kind of scared because, you know, as you know, touring can be crazy good or it can be just crazy in a very, very bad way. So I'm hoping that we will be able to find the middle ground. You know, splendid schizophrenia.
Yeah. I think once you're in that environment where it can become so insular, you kind of lose sight of just reality in general, I think.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reality is terrible.
Yeah, it's true enough. Yeah.
You know, not... well, my reality is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So, to finish it all off, we asked Ville to pick a track as well. That's kind of it. See?
If I can pick this
You
one.
pick this
yeah,
one,
yeah.
yeah.
It should be a track called Hearts of War, because that's the most like knuckleheady riff on the album. It's like our super Tony Iommi rip off and hats off to all things Brum. You know, I have a Birmingham fetish, and that song is a perfect example of it.
Nice. I find it interesting, all joking aside, that you are so dismissive. Not dismissive, but you're very gracious with your descriptions of things. You're like, oh, we ripped off this band, and this sounds like this. But I don't know. Why do you think that is?
I think it's honesty.
I do, yeah, I do, but...
Honesty is a virtue. At least that's what my mama told me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, I agree.
Well, I think that, we are glad that we've been brought up listening to great music. Music such as Sabbath, that has helped us through many sleepless nights. Not the thought of suicide, as Nietzsche said, but it's been Sabbath. So that's kind of virgin unreligious.
Yeah.
And music is everything to me. So in that sense, it's important, and the fact that there's not much more you can say about that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
Hello there, sweeties. My name is Ville Hermanni from a band called Him from Helsinki, Finland. And at the moment, you have the pleasure of listening to The Rock Show on Radio 1.